Hey there, I'm Donnie, and in this video, I'm going to take you through my complete process of how I design a paperback book cover in Procreate and BookCoverly. Doing it this way ensures that a book cover is not only professional quality, but it's formatted perfectly for any publisher. The process is actually pretty easy and fun, and really doesn't take much time at all. So let's get started. For this cover, we're going to make it a 6" by 9". So I will select the paperback template, and I'm going to make the background just a really dark blue. I'll just put it on a layer above the background, and that just makes it easier to make any edits if needed. So we'll go ahead and drop the color in. And now I want to add a layer above this. So I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way down, maybe a little less than that. I'm going to choose the selections tool, and from there at the bottom, I will select rectangle. And I'm just going to pull a rectangle in and then drop a color on it, just like that. Now I'll go into Actions and Canvas, and I'm going to turn on the grid just so it helps keep everything centered, like so. I'm going to choose Liquify, Pinch, and placing my pencil right in the center, I'm going to pull down. And when I do that, you're going to see it start to dip in. This is going to kind of symbolize a portal in a way. So now I'll add a layer above that. And I'm going to find a kind of a spooky looking tree. Okay. Get that at the right size. Now the tree, I want it to look like it's coming out of this portal. So we're going to align it. And I want the color to blend in with the brown. I want both the browns to blend in. So it looks like this tree isn't 100% opaque. So I'm going to duplicate this a couple times and then pinch the layers together. That looks good. Now I want to add some flourishes around the border, and I want them to be symmetrical. So we'll select Canvas, Edit Drawing Guide, Symmetry, and under Options, Quadrant. Let's make the grid a little lighter so I can see it. Now let's find a flourish that works with this cover. There's one. Okay. Make that a little bigger and get it lined up just right. That looks good. Now I want to tie these in with some swirly dotted lines. So let's see what we can do. I'm just going to make some freehand swirlies. And I'm still on the symmetrical layer. And this symmetrical layer is actually called Drawing Assist. And you will see that in the layer menu. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to add in the title. I'll go to the Actions tab and click Add Text. So I'm going to make this in all caps. The Dream Tree portal. I'm going to make that Cinzel, and Cinzel is a font that you can find in Google Fonts. It's completely free to use. I try to utilize the free fonts in my tutorials, so there's no issues in having to purchase anything extra. And Cinzel works good for fantasy titles. You'll see that font used a lot. I think the swirlies are kind of getting in the way, so I think I'm going to erase a little bit of that. And I turned off Drawing Assist just so it erases the bottom swirls and not the top ones. Just like so. Okay, that fits in a little bit better. We'll shrink that title and wedge it in there. Here we go. Okay. Let's duplicate the title to make the author name. We're going to keep this all in the same font. And all caps, Elara Moon. That's a nice fantasy name. And we'll make the author color the same as the background, that really dark navy blue. I want to nudge the name slightly higher, so I'm going to lightly tap my pencil just above it. And as you can see, by doing that, it just barely moves. And same with the title. This is a more precise way if you just need to move something a tiny bit. A tree looks like, it just looks a little weird to me, so I'm going to tilt it slightly so it fits a little better inside of that portal area. Okay, I think that looks all right. This design is almost going to be abstractive. It's kind of symbolic. I don't want to have too much detail in this cover, but just enough to where the reader knows what kind of a book it is. Genre-centric, if that makes any sense. It's definitely a fantasy book. Now we'll put some leaves on the tree, and for this, I'll select the variable leaf stamp. This will change positions of the leaves so it looks more natural. Let's get it at the right size. And as I tap these in, you'll see that they're in all different positions. Okay, that looks good. Now let's move the title and author name up a little. And now I want to add a little flourish, or not a flourish, but a symbol to the title, just to kind of give a clue about the story. So we will select a crow or a raven, whichever one you want to call it. I'm just going to give the title a little decoration. We'll set the sky right on top of the E. There's one more thing I want to add that gives off a clue to the story. It's just a little dark. Whatever, right there at the top. I think I want to, and you don't have to do this, it's an option, but I'm going to go ahead and place a shadow effect, like a soft shadow, beneath the title. And the way that I do this is I will duplicate the title. Through the Adjustments tab, I'm changing the brightness to black. And then in the Adjustments tab again, I'm going to apply a Gaussian blur. I'm just dragging my pencil to the right, and as I drag, you'll see the shadow effect appear. That just gives the title a little bit more depth. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to change the color of the flourishes that are in the blue. So I will draw a rectangle right where the brown is, and then I'll hit invert, which changes the selection to the blue part. And now I'll just drop in a tan color on the flourishes. And I'm going to lighten that up. So now it just gives a little bit more contrast to the design. As a finishing touch, I'm going to put a little texture in the blue, as you'll see. Kind of just gives it a little more interest and a little more polish. So let's select a texture. This is a seamless pattern, and I'm going to just color it in like so. Don't freak out, it will look better, I promise. Because we're gonna move the opacity way down. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Okay, I'm gonna change the hue. I don't think I like the tan. Let's make it more of a blue or bluish purple. Not too stark. Okay, let's look at that. Yeah, that looks good. It just gives it that professional touch, I think. Okay, I think we are about done. Let me look at these. I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more leaves in. There's some bare areas, and I'm real kind of OCD about that. So let's take care of that. And now in the Actions tool, we are going to turn this into a PNG file and export it to the desktop. Okay, now we are ready to make this into a full wrap. So on the desktop, let's launch BookCoverly, and we are going to make this. This is a 6x9 book. So in the height, we're going to make it 9.25, which is the height plus the bleed area, okay? And then the width is going to be back plus front, which is 12, plus the bleed area, 0.25. The spine, we don't know what that size is yet, but for this tutorial, we're going to assume that it's a 1/2 inch. So I will put 0.5. And you can also type in your page count if you know your page count number. It automatically generates the right spine width. In the bleed area, you're still going to want to put 0.125 or whatever your printer requires you to have for the bleed or the trim area. Color mode, we're going to leave it at RGB, but anymore, your printer makes adjustments for that. So it really doesn't matter. And then the resolution can either be 300 DPI or 600 DPI. I always stick to 300 DPI. And now we have our canvas ready. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import the front cover image that we just exported into the desktop. So we'll find that on my desktop. There it is. Okay, as you'll see, there's like a dark pink outline and then there's a yellow outline. The dark pink represents the bleed area, okay? So if you set your images or any of your elements to the pink dotted line, you are good. You just want to make sure that all your important elements are well within the yellow dotted line. So I am going to position this so it's sitting on the pink and I'm slightly adjusting it. Now, what I want to do is I want to match the rest of the cover with the front cover colors. And a really cool way to do this, and really easy way, is a site called imagecolorpicker.com. So we'll pull that up. And all I'm doing is I'm selecting Color Picker, and it just takes a little eyedropper tool, and you just select the color you want, and it gives you all the codes, the hex code, the RGB, HSL, everything. It's really cool. I will select the background chooser, and I'm just going to type in the same code as in the RGB. So we've got 45, 23, and 82. The A bar is just for opacity, okay? So I will select accept, and it does a pretty darn good job. It's the same color as the crisscross pattern. So now I'm going to add the spine copy, the same font, Cinzel. And I'm going to make the copy the same color as the title. So we're doing the same thing again. $156, $214, and $215. For some reason, the blue bar, you gotta kind of like mess with it a little bit, but it gets there. Say accept. Let's turn that. Okay, we're gonna make that 18. We'll try 18 point. We'll turn it vertically and just center it in there. And now I duplicate by selecting Control C and Control V, and that's on both Macintosh and Windows platforms. And from this, I will make the author name. There we go. Now we'll work on the back cover copy. And I've already typed it in, so all I have to do is copy paste. And I'm going to change that font, don't worry. And change it to a nice sans serif, simple like Avenir. I like that one. 12 point, we'll try that. I think I want to make it a little smaller. And then we'll stretch out the leading. And then the top, this is a cool thing. You can change the size and all kinds of different styling within the same text box, and there are codes. There's certain codes that we use for that. They are all in the user guide, but what I want to do is take the first line, the first sentence, and make it larger. In order to do that, I will type in the code. And the code for that is type size and then whatever size I want to make that text. And then you put it before your line, and then after your line, you'll do a backslash to close that command. Okay, let's try it. A little big. $16. There we go. That works. Tweak this copy a little. I'm going to play around with the position here. Okay. Now I want to add that tree, and this is also a ping file. I just took it from Procreate, and I'm going to put it in the spine. The tree is like the main subject of this book. So we'll repeat it again on the back cover. And now we're going to add the ISBN barcode. So if you need to add your barcode, this is a great little tool. So all you do is you type in your ISBN, and then Beneath that, you can type in your price if you have a price. And voila, there's your barcode. It is ISBN standard. If you don't have a price, just type in 90000. So it's 9 followed by 4 zeros. But for your price, you have different pricing codes, which are also in the user guide. United States, for example, uses 5 as their $ pricing code. So if this book is $12.95, the code would be 51295. Okay. I want to make that final line a little larger than the rest. So we'll do the same thing with this one. Let's make it a tiny bit smaller. Perfect. Now we need to generate this as a PDF. We'll select Cover, Generate As, File Format PDF, give it a name, and save it. And I also forgot to save this actual file itself, and that's really important, so let's go ahead and do that too. We'll save this as a native BookCoverly file. Here we go. Okay, here is the final PDF. Looks fabulous. And here is a 3D version of this cover. And this is all ready to send over to your publisher. And that's all there is to designing a beautiful book cover in Procreate and BookCoverly. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, please be sure to subscribe so you will be notified whenever I post a tutorial or process video on book covers and other design techniques. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next video.